Let's do it. 8 minutes after the top of the hour on the live side. Back to Basics rolls on. Welcome back in. Fast Eddie Layne over here. I think I just said my name too fast. It sounded like something totally different. I'd like to welcome back in Stan Grubb from Wrestle Rage Radio and Corner to Corner.
Hey, he said it cool. What's up, everybody?
Actually, I said it earlier in the show before you came on.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I'm sorry. I started listening at 9:30 once I was in good listening range for my phone. That's how I heard Josh talking about that awesome match idea, which really sounds cool. I would love to be there for that.
Now, we were hoping to have Shane Noles on with Peachstate Wrestling Alliance, and actually, I'm waiting to hear back. He and I've been playing phone tag for the last couple of days. It's been one of those circumstances. So, now, and like I said, I would love to be over this coming Sunday in Atlanta for AWE. I'll get my initials right in a minute. I'm just going to go ahead and start screwing the initials and saying the names.
That's sometimes a good thing to do, because when I hear AWE, unfortunately, I think of that old Money Mark that did that show down in Fishersville, Virginia. It hasn't been heard or seen since. So,
well, I mean, think about it. If I say the words MCW, what do you think?
Music City Wrestling?
Nope, Maryland Championship Wrestling.
You know what? And you know the reason that is? I think of Maryland Championship Wrestling, but I don't think of MCW. And that's because Music City, I think they did like 6 or 7 shows.
Right.
They were in PWI. So I'm an idiot. It's okay.
It's okay. Matter of fact, December the 4th, Maryland Championship Wrestling in Felton, Delaware. Let me see. Friday, December the 4th, MCW heads to the Delaware Auto Exchange, 10182 South DuPont Highway in Felton, Delaware. Meet Mick Foley and the Headbangers during a live meet and greet starting at 6:30 p.m. And they're going to jump into the action at 8 p.m. featuring the Headbangers versus the Punk Rock All-Stars, the Funky White Boy and Fed Up with Mick Foley versus Sonny Deeds, and the Hotlanta Hustlers with Billy Bingo, and a whole lot more. Yes, Mosh and Thrasher will be at the Delaware Auto Exchange in Felton, Delaware on Friday, December the 4th with Maryland Championship Wrestling. Special thank you to the commissioner or general manager, whatever the hell the authority figure is. I think it's commissioner, Phil Stamper. And Phil has been like on a roll lately. I don't know if you were able to hear the last time he was on. He has been appointed the general manager for MCW. He is the general manager for Grand Slam Wrestling. And he has also recently purchased Heartland Wrestling. If you remember that one.
Les Thatcher.
Yeah, buddy. So we're looking, the man's been on a roll lately. Plus, Phil also, like I said, takes care of a calendar of events and he sends it over, and he also posted a number of different places. And I have been meaning to get with him about going ahead and posting it on the BR Friends page. And every time we do, it's just kind of like, what happened? It's one of those situations. I hate to say it, but it's true. But what I'm going to do is, I know that he puts it on his page as well as about 5 or 6 others. And did Jay get back? Okay, cool. Thank you, Harold. No, I've got a friend of mine. I'm in 3 different conversations at once. But, yeah, we were making a reference to TNA a little while ago. And they've been caught between a rock and a hard place for a while, because you've had so much going on between them. The people, you've got the rats jumping ship, so to speak, and I hate to say that term, but it's true. And some of them are heading for Global Force, which is running more live events, and I know that they're trying to work a television deal right now. But it's a case of, well, okay. Remember my commentary when Global Force was supposedly a promoting factor for the New Japan pay-per-view over here?
I do.
That was before they had even run a show.
Correct.
So until you run a show, you are a promotion company. You are not a wrestling promotion. You're a marketing agency. You're also very smart in the fact that you managed to get several hundred wrestlers to talk about a non-existent company whoring themselves out, saying, hey, wouldn't you like to see me on GFW? Okay, what's GFW, Beavis?
Best reference ever.
Thank you. Occasionally I can hit that voice. I was saying it when we were coming back in, the temperature shifts that we've been dealing with down here in Bama. I mean, it's like, okay, last night it was down to lower 40s, upper 30s, and then all of a sudden today it's back up to almost 70 degrees, and my sinuses have just decided to go, hi there, we're going to F with you today.
I spent my sophomore year of high school doing Beavis and Butthead impressions. That was what got me through algebra. So,
Yeah, fire.
yeah, that's cool. Fire's cool.
Yeah, I do it better when I don't even try. It's like Butthead for me. It depends on what season Butthead you're thinking about. I'm trying to do because the emulation pattern is totally different for a couple of different seasons there.
Yeah, the earlier seasons sound is different, completely different.
Well, it's kind of like I was at a. What is the best way? I was at a brass pole exhibition for single moms.
Flip a brass pole exhibition for single moms just trying to pay their way through college.
There you go. And nursing school. And
wow. Yes, ma'am. Indy Striper in the house.
And oh boy. And to all of my friends who work at a particular establishment, hi there, how you doing? And yes, I've said that with y'all there too. But no, go from there, and it's like I'm sitting about with friends, and we just start breaking off into different comedy bits. I mean, we're not picking on the girl. We might be picking on the DJ or picking on the song that's being played. And lo and behold, one of them broke into a seriously perfect Beavis and just started going. It's like, and I just looked over and said, "Shut up, Beavis! I'm staring at the girl."
Nice.
And the Academy Award for Most Creative Use of a Thong goes to.
Wow.
There you go.
So do they do those kinds of consolation prizes? Hey, listen, your dance kind of sucked, but you have a great thong.
I've never known any place to do that.
Honey, I'm so sorry. The fans really weren't into you tonight, but hey, you've got a lot of dollar bills.
There you go. That's the name of in the words of the Crystal Method, that's the name of the game. If you've ever heard of the Crystal Method, you know the song to which I refer. Let me guess, you haven't.
Probably not. Because I'm
wow.
Just,
Okay. Do a search, and I guess the easy way to do it would be Pandora or Shazam or something like that, whichever one will let you listen to snippets of music, or Amazon or YouTube. Look up the group called The Crystal Method, song titled The Name of the Game. That's the name. Okay. Yeah, it's a good song. I enjoy the hell out of it. Always have. It's a few years old, and that's one of those, it's, and here's the funny thing, and I know we're off wrestling for a hot second, even though we were somewhat speaking about TNA, which is about the same thing. And Pretty much. It's amazing to me how some songs from one year, let's pick a year, 1993, 22 years ago, almost 23.
Damn, I feel old.
Yeah, I know. Some songs from that year you hear and it's like, damn, this is still good. And you hear other songs from that year and it's like, wow, that's old. And it just depends on the song.
That's true. I agree with you there.
And I'll give you the perfect examples of a song from any particular year. KC and the Sunshine Band, Get Down Tonight. Never Gets Old. I have the honor of doing wedding receptions, birthday parties, various events. I play that song. It doesn't matter if you're 16 or 106, you're getting out on that dance floor. Because everybody wants to dance to that song. ABBA, Dancing Queen. Doesn't matter if you're 15 or 105. People get out on the dance floor and dance to that song. Kool and the Gang, Celebration. Still one of the most heavily requested songs that I get for wedding receptions. James Taylor. Here's an older reference for you. How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. I still get that for wedding receptions. I mean, it's like, and go figure this one out. The Cha-Cha Slide, still get it. The Casper Slide, still get it. The Cupid Shuffle, still get it. The Wobble, still get it. The Train, don't get it anymore.
The Wobble.
The Wobble. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble.
Yeah. I was at a wedding a few weeks ago, and I did hear that song. It's like the first time in forever, and You know what made me grateful at that moment?
What?
The fact that I know that I can't dance. That's what made me feel good. Folks, when you get asked by the best man at your friend's wedding, so here's what we're going to do, guys. The DJ has asked that we all get out there and dance for a song. So I've picked Drake, Hotline Bling.
Barf?
I say to him, so that's cool, man, but I don't know if you're aware, but I'm the whitest guy in the room, and my rhythm is about 0. He says, no, man, it's cool, because if you've ever seen the video, you know that all you have to do is just do some crazy move, and you'll be fine. I'm like, okay, so I actually, because I'm stupid, I'm not going to just try it, because that would be stupid. I YouTubed it, right? I look it up. And there's Drake doing that stupidity dance that he does. I think to myself, I am royally screwed. I get out there and I do my best imitation of a white guy dancing, which is bad. And I realize at that moment that pop music, R&B, and hip-hop and rap has just totally passed me by. and no music sounds good to me. But the one song that I heard that I felt like at least I recognized was The Electric Slide. Tragically White. That's me.
The Electric Slide.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I was too. I kept a good rum and coke going though, so it kept me okay for most of the night.
Yeah, but I still sit back and say, it's funny as hell, because like I said, I still get a request for that song whenever I do wedding receptions. And by the way, for the record, I'll go ahead and do this now instead of shameless plug. Speaking of, Stan, get yours ready, because I know that you said you got a bug. Folks, I do accept bookings as a DJ for wedding receptions, birthday parties, school dances, corporate mixers, all different styles. You heard the break just a minute ago through Full Range Entertainment. You can either catch me on my on Facebook.com/FastEddieLayne. You can catch Full Range Entertainment at Yahoo.com. Spell it all the way out, kids. You can also find me FastEddieLayne at Gmail. But the easy way to get me is through the booking agency of Full Range Entertainment at Yahoo.com. That's the best way to do it. FullRangeEntertainment.com is the website, in a severe state of ill repair right now. Getting ready for a major overhaul of that website. But definitely, like I said, I do appreciate the opportunities that are sent my way, and to everybody who allows me the honor and the privilege of applying my trade at their special events. I do greatly appreciate it. Stan, I know that you've got some stuff you've got to do, including birthday shopping and birthday setup. So, and I just hope I didn't pop that one right out of the water. But I will say, go ahead and go for last call and shameless plug, sir.
I mean, I don't think you blew it out of the water. If she's up and listening, I'd like to know why. And then I'm sure her mother's going to have questions for me later. But, that's my life. You can catch me, of course, Sunday nights at Wrestle Rage Radio, myself and Smart Rage. This Sunday, I believe, we are live and on location somewhere. Don't quote me on that, because there's a possibility we might not be. Not from my end. I just don't know what Corey's plans are for the weekend.
He'll be at AWE, and I'll be ready to broadcast live, so we're good.
Okay, so we'll be here. Then this Friday, of course, you'll get an opportunity to yet again hear Corner to Corner. I've been really working on just having a solo project. I'm really enjoying it. It's only 30 minutes. I mean, if you can't dedicate 30 minutes of your time to your old buddy Stan, what are you doing with your life? Really? I mean, come on. What, you got a job? You got family? No. You need to be listening to us. We're beyond Ringside. That's what we do. So you can follow me on Twitter at FightGrubbFight. Kevin Owens, I'm still waiting for your response to my, still a big fan. I'm going to change my Twitter name if you don't respond. On Facebook, of course, and Wrestle Rage VR for the Wrestle Rage account. I don't have a Twitter for Corner to Corner. I probably won't have one because it's my personal project, and I don't want it to have its own Twitter. That's how I feel. So there. We'll be celebrating Carolina's win against Dallas Thursday evening. If you want to join me on Twitter and say, Stan, you were right, that'd be cool. Other than that, just living the dream, as I said earlier.
You got it, brother. Always a pleasure. Great to have you on board. Looking forward to this coming Sunday on Wrestle Rage.
Hey, I love it myself.
Oh, and by the way, for the record, the other account, which I mistakenly typed in the other day when I was doing the setups, actually Wrestle Rage, which is a division of, or an event by Adirondack Pro Wrestling, I do believe. We have now started doing some crossover with them. So, of course, as time goes by, I'll let you know. That way, when situations come into play and they get ready for their event called Wrestle Rage, you can have representatives from Wrestle Rage on Wrestle Rage.
Wow, that's like a mystery wrapped in a riddle, trapped in an enigma or something.
Yeah. I just thought, like I said, I forgot the fact that I was typing so fast that I forgot where the BR were, and I just typed in at Wrestle Rage. So we're doing this on air, kids. But from that vantage point, they got in touch, and it's like, it was the interview with Cue Ball.
Nice. Well, I mean, hey, Cue Ball brings the people.
Yeah.
We're just lucky enough to talk to him.
Oh, yeah. He was tremendous that day, too. But from that vantage point, like I said, I inadvertently forgot to put the BR on Wrestle Rage BR. And they came back and said it. They retweeted it saying it's not us, but still very interesting. So
yeah, we when we first brought the show back officially, we tried like hell to get them just to respond to a tweet so that we could get our account back. Because some bonehead decided as soon as he got fired from Wrestle Rage, that he was gonna delete the account, and somebody else picked it up. I don't know who that bonehead is, but his first name starts with Natch and his last name ends with Champion. I don't know.
You mean his first name starts with Corey and last name starts with Champion?
Well, it sounded better when I did it, but okay, I agree with you.
No, you said his last name starts with Natch.
I know, I was just trying to screw around.
No, his first name starts with Natch. That's what you said. Duh. Sorry, brain dead DJ. I hate it when that happens.
One thing we do know is that his middle name is not Snatch.
Doom.
Thank you.
That's
I'm here all
just
week,
so bad.
Try the veal.
Thank you, smart. Thank you. What is it, Shrek? Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. Done deal. Stan, thank you again. Always appreciated.
Of course, I love it here, man. I'd spend every Tuesday here if you'd let me.
Careful what you wish for. You might just be able to bring Corner to Corner live on Tuesday nights.
Ooh, that's pretty. I like that.
Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
That's a dangerous thought, but I'll do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stan Grubb with Wrestle Rage Radio and Corner to Corner. Thank you, brother.
Hey, always a pleasure, Eddie. Thank
you
so
soon.
much. All right.
Bye. Want to take a moment to say thank you to a very good friend, Matt Classic with the AIWF, sending over the ratings this past Sunday. AIWF Championship rankings as of 11/22/15. World champion, of course, Damian Wayne. Number 1 contender, Lodi. Number 2, Joseph von Schmidt. Number 3 contender, Barreto. Number 4, Eric Darkstorm. Number 5, John Green. Number 6, Power Lee. Number 7, Mike Cash. Number 8, Lance Anai. Number 9, Christopher Daniels. And number 10, Brian Rivers. In the AIWF World Tag Team Championship rankings, the champions right now, the Legion. Number 1 contender, Planet Funk. Number 2, Guns and Beer. Number 3, the Geordie Bulldogs. Number 4, Sons of Texas. And number 5, the Lucha World Order. My screen is just blinking right now. I'm going to have to throw a computer at a computer screen. The AIWF Women's World Championship rankings. Their champion, of course, Leanne. Number 1 contender, Aja Pereira. Number 2, The Great Cheyenne. Number 3, Stormy Lee. Number 4, Mary Elizabeth Monroe. Number 5, Kat Von Hees. The AIWF World Cruiserweight Championship rankings. Their champion, Drew Game. Number 1 contender, James Anthony. Number 2, Logan Stevens. 3rd, Jaden Newman. Number 4, Stunt Marshall. And number 5, Kevin Phoenix. And their AIWF Americas Championship. The champion, Fred Yehai. Number 1 contender, Evan Atlas. Number 2, Chase Jordan. Number 3, Nathan Brick. Number 4, Smokey C. And their 5th ranked contender is Logan Creed. Thank you once again to Matt Classic for sending those over. Keep your eyes open on Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside and Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. More than happy to help share information about promotions all the way across the board and around the country and across the world. Hang on. Did not mean to do that as a private message. I meant to turn around and say, share. There we go. Put it on the Facebook fan page as well, because there are people heading to that one. It's Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live is the Facebook fan page. Speaking of live events, let's go ahead and run these down real quick. Wednesday, November 25, tomorrow from this vantage point, and now officially, still tomorrow, still today in the Eastern time zone. American Combat Wrestling at the Tropical Island Breeze in the Gulf View Square Mall, 9409 U.S. Highway 19 in Newport Richey, Florida. ARW on Wednesday, November the 25th in Lake Station, Indiana at American Legion Post 100, 1899 Central Avenue, Lake Station, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Wednesday, November 25th, I do believe Ohio Valley Wrestling OVW back in action, 4400 Shepherdsville Road in Louisville, Kentucky, 7 p.m. bell time. The 25th, Rockstar Pro back in action. Oh, hello. Hold on. Let me get over here. My mouse is not working, Shane. 3, 2, 1. Click. Let's see if we got it in time. Did we get him? Yes, we did. Shane Noles, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man? My apologies. I actually dozed off in my easy chair and woke up to your text, and I said, oh, let me call in.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Peachstate Wrestling Alliance and the Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern, Shane Noles, glad to have you on board, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me. My apologies making a grand entrance there, waking up from Rip Van Winkle and that, but I'm not used to having Tuesday evenings off, so I guess I was catching a little shut-eye.
Yeah, I know. Normally you have useless trivia on Tuesday nights, and I believe you said, now, is this just a temporary move, or is this a full-scale move from Tuesday to Monday?
It is a full-scale move from Tuesdays to Mondays, yes. Mondays at 7 p.m. Tuesday nights are open on the docket on the Tuesday evening for now.
And are you still doing a Wednesday?
I'm doing Wednesdays, yes. Mellow Mushroom in Oxford. Also may have a new one on the docket. Just spoke with them yesterday. Rack and Roll Billiards. A nice little setup of billiards and restaurant in Anniston, possibly on Thursday.
Cool. And of course, you know I'm going to say this. If you know anybody looking for karaoke on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, call me.
Exactly.
maybe something coming up on Thursdays in the very near future. Working on that one. Just got to get past Turkey Day first. Do me a favor. Let me also mention this one other one before we make a move real quick. Tomorrow night, November the 25th, in Malden, Massachusetts, UFO, at Malden Irish American Club, 177 West Street in Malden, Massachusetts. I do believe that is going to be a 7:30 p.m. bell time. It is UFO wrestling. From that, hang on a second. They sent an Phil. You sent me an old page. Shoot to kill. Ask questions later. But definitely check it out. We're going to have all the events listed over on Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside, as well as Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. And if I can get situations in play on my side of the board, I will be more than happy to get them back up on .com, because I know I get a lot of people still asking about that. Dude, how crazy is it going into this Saturday?
Oh, for Thanksgiving Turmoil, yes, right around the corner. You know, they really don't have a whole lot of time to celebrate Thanksgiving with one eye turned towards Saturday at Central Elementary School in Carrollton.
It's going to be a hot time in Carrollton, Georgia. Central Elementary. Try it again, ding dong. 633 Stripling Chapel Road in Carrollton. I got that one right without even looking, didn't I? Don't ask me the zip code. I'll be in severe trouble if you ask me to quote that one.
30116, if memory serves.
I'll go back and look later and see if you're right. Now, I do have to put this one in play. Main event this Saturday night at Peachstate. The crown jewel of pro wrestling, also known as the savior of pro wrestling. This man has more monikers than I've got active hair follicles. I'm referring to Jimmy Rave. Non-title match, which a lot of people are still question marking, but I understand Rave's logic behind this. For as much as has been happening with Tommy Too Much, and especially with America being in his corner, I've got to sit back and worry. Now, I'm glad that the titles are not on the line in this particular circumstance, because if the title was on the line, considering what America did against the when Tommy took on AJ Steele, America may need to be handcuffed in the corner, dude.
I was going to say, we may have to get a second dog collar, which will be used in a match earlier in the evening. May need one for the main event as well.
That would be a semi-direct accredited quote to the Wicked Nemesis referring to
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I had conversation with Miss Strong the other night, and she came up and said, on what exact moment did Wicked Nemesis refer to me as a three-legged pit bull I said, that's a really good question. I think it was either To Be Determined, GCW Radio, or one of those two shows. So, yeah, slightly.
Pick. Might have been all three.
Look, I'm going to sit back and say this. I have no qualm in admitting the fact that America might be able to military press me, and there wouldn't be a damn thing I could do about it. I don't think there'd be a damn thing I'd want to do about it. But
I was about to say, I bet it would not be met with much resistance.
Zero, zilch, nada, none, yet, not, yet, nunca. Oh, hi. Damn, we're still on the air and I'm saying that. Hi, how y'all doing? Okay. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, kids. It's in my contract to be an idiot every once in a while. Mainly 23 hours and 45 minutes out of the day. The other 15 minutes is spent doing shameless plugs. Oh, wait, strike that, reverse it. Now, speaking of the dog collars, let's put this one in play. This one's been brewing. This one's been building for a while, and it's finally going to happen. These two will meet face-to-face in a dog collar match. Dusty McWilliams takes on the No Pain Train Iceberg with Jeff G. Bailey in his corner. How much more insane can it get, Shane?
Oh, the dog collar match is, I think it's one of the most rare gimmick matches you ever see, and there's that word again, but it's never been done in over 7 years at Peachstate, and to my knowledge, I have not seen many around on the independents. I mean, a couple of come to mind, of course, the Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine match, a couple of more, but you don't even see them on the big stage anymore. I mean, a dog collar match is such a rarity, but the dog collar's around the necks, but that chain that separates them can be used as a weapon right from the opening bell.
Yeah, and that's something a lot of people have got to be careful about. This is going to be a don't blink circumstance, because you've got a true sawbone cowboy in Dusty McWilliams. The man can dish it. The man can take the punishment. And then you've got Iceberg, who is cut from the same mold to a great degree. I believe he is also referred to as the being of, what is it, inexplicable horror?
Yes, I was going to say there's a lot of similarities between the styles of Dusty McWilliams and Iceberg. Take a lick and keep on ticking. These two have been going at it on and off, and they've had a month to think about it. Since October 17th, about 5 weeks to prepare for this match, which if you heard Jeff G. Bailey's promo, he said Iceberg would take that chain, wrap it around his right hand, and pound into Dusty McWilliams' forehead until it was hamburger meat.
Now, Dusty McWilliams also currently one half of the PWA Tag Team Champions, and you are going to have a situation in play. I hate to use the term you're going to have your hands full, because it just doesn't sound right saying considering who your opponent is. With the other half, I was waiting on that. I knew it was good. It's like, did he really just say that? Yes, he did. Holy crap. Let's do a religious fecal matter reference here. Holy. Because you're going to be going face to face with the other half of the PWA Tag Champions, and I'm referring to Simon Sermon.
No stranger to Simon Sermon. He and I did battle, of course, October the 17th as well. We've had about a month to prepare for this, or actually November the 7th, almost 3 weeks since we knew going in that Mr. Sermon would have the opportunity to pick any stipulation he likes, which will not be revealed until we're both in the ring this Saturday. So trying to prepare for anything and everything with a former exotic one. Who knows what Simon's going to want, but the main thing is he whines and moans and groans, but Wick and I have both said, if I were in your position, I would be.
Now, of course, you are going to have, and he's loving the new nickname, the Necessary Evil, known as the Wicked Nemesis, in your corner this weekend.
Yes, and for those that are still shocked, there's been a lot of curiosity as to why. I've aligned myself with the Wicked Nemesis. Of course, Wick has put it over in a couple of promos, but I think this Saturday you're going to see why. Wick is not just out there, and he's not out there at all for eye candy. No apologies, Angie. But he's not out there for eye candy. He is a necessary evil that is needed for guidance going forward in wrestling matches. He is a manager's manager, if that makes sense. And,
it does.
I have no doubt his presence will be felt this Saturday and is much needed as far as I'm concerned.
Now, speaking of the Wicked Nemesis, let me also go ahead and let everybody know now that tomorrow night, November 25, The To Be Determined show returns live to be on Ringside Sports Radio, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, and special guest slated to be the being of inexplicable horror, the No Pain Train, the Iceberg on the To Be Determined show. Definitely stick around and stay locked in. Gonna get a chance.
Nice.
Yeah, gonna have a chance to speak with Iceberg going into the dog collar match with Dusty McWilliams headed up this Saturday night. Now,
I wanted to mention something too, Eddie. We glossed over this, but as far as the Jimmy Ray Tommy Too Much, the PWA Heritage title is not on the line,
right?
But you kind of saw it with the mutual handshake agreement for the match. Tommy feels, as he always does, that he has been slighted. He does not get the recognition and respect he deserves. He respects Jimmy Ray, but this is his stepping stone match. If you beat the cream of the crop, that's his words, not mine, you're made. And, of course, Jimmy Ray said, you beat a lot of guys in this company. You've never beat me. And it's an interesting dynamic. No title on the line, but this would be, to quote the old phrase, a true feather in the cap for Tommy Too Much if he were able to be victorious, because Jimmy Rave, not a lot of people have beat Jimmy Rave in 2015.
Nope. And that's the gospel. The man has been on a tear. And pro wrestling fans in Alabama were treated to the factor of Jimmy Rave making a impromptu appearance, entering into the heavyweight championship tournament, defeating Tommy Pinarelli to move into the second round of the matchup. So, like I said, for our friends in Eastern Alabama, definitely going to be worth the drive to make the move to Carrollton this coming Saturday night. From that vantage point, we make a reference to the factor of championship belts. However, there is a title that will be on the line this coming Saturday night in Carrollton, Georgia, under the banner of Peachstate Wrestling Alliance, and that is going to be the No Limits Championship. Shane?
Yeah, Kevin Blue takes on the man he took the title from, P-Dog Mike Posey. These two have been the class of the No Limits division for the last 6 months, and that's no disrespect to anyone else that's competed, but these are the two guys that have held the gold, and it's a lot easier, I think, to hold on to the belt as a champion, but I don't think Kevin Blue is going to take any liberties. He's going to be a fighting champion.
And therein lies the rub, because you've got somebody in the form of P-Dog Mike Posey that is not afraid to take those liberties. He's not
Absolutely.
afraid. Yeah, he's not afraid to cut the first corner or the third corner. He can cut so many corners he'll make a square a circle.
I like that. There's one to write down.
There you go. Believe it or not, I just thought of that. Yes, run off with it, have fun. I don't mind. I really don't. I'm actually flattered. And I'm sober. Leave me alone. But I'm looking at the situation because you've got Posey who wants that belt back. And you've got Kevin Blue who has just been working his ass off to get to that next level, and now he's got that No Limits title. And I agree, Kevin Blue is going to do everything he can to be a pure representative of the No Limits title. But by the same token, he's also going to have to combat the fact that whether it's just Mike Posey by himself, or he may have a member of his Get Along gang in Carrollton with him, Kevin's got to be ready for the fact that Posey will do anything and everything to get that championship back, because he was proud of that belt. He was damn.
He was. He held it for quite a while. As a matter of fact, he almost came very close on 2 different occasions of unifying that with the Heritage title. A couple of matches with Jimmy Ray, unsuccessful, but took him to the limit. So Posey definitely looking to get back into the mix.
Now, speaking of the word limits, I'm going to make this play because limits will be exceeded this Saturday night in Carrollton. When you take all combustible elements in play and add a ladder. And we make the reference to the fact, if you've been following what's been going on, if you've been there, you know. If you've been following it, you may not have all the clues. That's why I tell you, you need to be there. Don't wait on the DVD. Don't wait on spoilers, or don't wait on the results to come out the next day, which a lot of the times they won't. It's always better to be there in person. And this match is a perfect representative of why that phrase is gospel. Tyson Dean takes on Sal Renaro for the liberty and liberation of his contract from Al Getz in a ladder match. Shane?
And you throw one more wrinkle in that. I mean, that Tyson Dean has been under the control of Al Getz Enterprises. He's wanted out of this thing desperately. Sal Rinauro, the one who made the challenge for a ladder match. If you want out of it so desperately, you go into a match that is my forte, one that is Tyson Dean has never competed in. I mean, to my knowledge, he doesn't do any moves off the top rope. He is a ground and pound right in the middle of the squared circle, and now you're throwing in that element of a guy like Sal Rinauro who's competed in numerous ladder matches across the country.
Right.
It's Tyson's first time in, but I mean, that added caveat of if he can get up there and get that contract, he is a free man. If not, he will be under the control of Al Getz for as long as Al sees fit. And for our listening audience, if you didn't know, unfortunately, Al Getz broke his leg in 2 places over the weekend at WrestleMerica, jumping off the ring apron to the floor. Broke his fibula. He will be in a wheelchair Saturday night. He said, I'll be damned, I'll still be there. But you have to wonder, for those wondering if Al Getz will get involved, how much could he really do physically? It's going to have to be a lot of mental prep work with Sal Rinauro, because Al Getz, for once, unfortunately, due to injury, may just be an innocent bystander or a by-sitter, I should say.
By-wheeler.
By-wheeler.
Now, unfortunately, a wheelchair does have 4 wheels, so therefore it's like that by thing just got shot out the window. But hey, what the hell, it sounded good at the time.
Quattro-wheeler, there we go.
There you go. Now, that does add a whole new dynamic to the situation in play. Because knowing what I have seen from Al Getz in recent days, the man was not afraid to interject himself physically or verbally, much less anything else, into a situation. But now and by the way, I'm going to stop the world for a second. To Al, Mr. Getz, my thoughts, my hopes, my prayers, my best wishes for a full and speedy recovery. I mean, everything in play. Yes, brother, I hope you're back up and around in no time flat, or as quickly as possible. But from that vantage point, this is going to be one of those circumstances where you're right in more ways than you know, because when you've got Sal Rinauro, and you know that Sal takes inspiration from some of the most abstract sources, he knows what all's on the line as far as Tyson's contract goes. But Sal may have actually just picked up additional inspiration in the injury to Al Getz. So from that vantage point, what would normally be a slight disadvantage for Tyson Dean with the added body of Al Getz out there, Tyson's going to have to make that much more of a preparation run is the way I should have said it, because of the fact that Sal is going to be working that much harder for his manager, who is now in a wheelchair. So, Tyson, dude, we're behind you. We're with you. But you got to know, it's going to be, the stakes just got that much higher, and the cost is that much greater. You're going to be taking a ladder. You've never done this before? I didn't know that part. That's a scary thought. Yeah, Tyson has been pretty much a ground and pound, and he stays pretty much grounded. He's a great technical and a good powerhouse, a true powerhouse. So this is going to be a circumstance where, yes, folks, don't use toothpicks. Use crowbars, because you are not going to want to blink at any time during this match. Speaking of don't blink matches, a tag team match, or a match that will have ramifications and implications on the tag team scene in Peachstate Wrestling Alliance. And I am referring to #TrendingNow. Led to the ring by Amy Haven, and I refer to the last hero, Ace Haven, and Charles Anders, taking on the combination of DP3, Donnie Primetime III, and Mr. Excitement, Britt Jackson. Shane?
They are now known as the Feature Attraction, with Britt Jackson and DP3, the new moniker for their tag team. This match was marred, I think, by, I won't say fan interference, but fan observations for what happened at the last event. This is a chance for them to get back out there, have the match that they think they both deserve. But yes, the winner of this match will go on to a match, the Triple Threat Tag Team Title match, December 26th, the day after Thanksgiving, at our annual Christmas Chaos event. Simon Sermon and Dusty McWilliams will defend the tag team titles against the winner of #TrendingNow and the Feature Attraction. And also coming in for the Triple Threat will be the Beautiful Bald Besties, Michael Stevens, Zach Edwards. 2 teams already announced, 1 to go. Qualifying
Nice.
this Saturday.
Now, what is the date on that one again?
December the 26th, the Saturday after Christmas.
Day after Christmas. Yes, you just felt the disturbance on the force. We'll talk off air. Now, first off, how much are tickets?
Tickets are $10 across the board. Got about 3 or 4 ringside seats, I believe, still available for Saturday. So still a chance to get in touch with us. PWA Fanbase at yahoo.com or PeachstateWrestlingAlliance.com, or even on our Facebook page, Peach State Wrestling Alliance. If you want those 3 or 4 ringside, get in touch with us. We'll set you up. Tickets are $10 across the board. Children 6 and under get in free with adult state admission.
Doors open at what time?
7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Bell time at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. 6 matches on the card, and they don't call it Thanksgiving Turmoil for nothing. There's a lot of stipulations built up. There's a lot of tension been built up for the last few months. Could be a couple of surprises, and I wanted to touch on what you said about Al Getz in the wheelchair. You know, he's done a pretty good job here bringing in some ringers, so to speak, for the Bounty Challenge against Jimmy Rave. I would have to think possibly he could have someone on hand if he's not able to do it himself, someone to assist Sal Renaro, because that contract, for everything Al says about Tyson Dean, he knows he is a hot commodity and a property worth keeping, and I know he would hate to see that go by the wayside Saturday.
That is very true. That is very, very true. Folks, mark your calendars, make your plans. It's this Saturday night. Carrollton, Georgia. Central Elementary School, 633 Stripling Chapel Road. You've got some great matches lined up. I know there's going to be a surprise, but I'm also going to go ahead and say, normally I would try to get you for an exclusive, but I'm going to hold that because I have a feeling we'll bring it up this coming Saturday on the Shooters Gallery, right?
Teaser for the Shooters Gallery. Chambers is going to be loaded, folks, this Saturday, and I do want to say to you, Eddie, and his cause as well, my apologies if my humor got a little bit blue this Saturday towards the end of the telecast.
Oh, hell, that's fine. We can go blue all day long as well. We even every once in a while break the hashtag #HellDamnAss thing, but you know something? Life happens. I mean, please. But I'm also going to sit back and say, can I possibly do this 4 consecutive weeks in a row on a blue plate upset special?
Oh,
yeah, because
kudos to you. I took the points with Michigan State, Ohio State. You had them winning outright. Hats off to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Even though, hey, second time in a row, it came down to a last play of the game. But you know something? That's why they call it an upset.
What is the Fast Eddie Layne upset pick of the week this week?
I have a feeling you and I are going to agree to this one. And I don't really know how much of an upset it's going to be, but I'm sitting back because this one's been burning a hole in my mind and burning a hole in my eyes since I first hit it after this past weekend. And yes, I'm going to take Stanford to defeat Notre Dame this week.
I'm right there with you. I am all on board with the Cardinal. That is not Cardinals. It still grinds my gears when people put that S at the end of it out of habit. The Cardinal of Stanford. Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame looks to be limping towards the finish, especially with that win over Boston College this past Saturday. And now, to my knowledge, they are outside the top 4 in the college football playoff, with Oklahoma and Iowa entering the top 4 earlier this evening.
Let me see. It was up just a second ago, so I'm wondering what the hell just happened to it. Yep, and
Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma, Iowa.
That's it. Yeah, because there it is. It got bumped down the page thanks to Kobe and the Lakers. And at this point right now, at halftime on TNT, Golden State leads the Lakers 54-38.
That was one I was trying to stay up and watch before I called in. I was like, the Warriors are trying to make history here, start a season 16-0, and of course, Mother Nature had other ideas.
You know, we're gonna take topic break for a second and go in a different direction at 8 minutes before the top of the hour, and I'm gonna let you go back to the nap into the ball game in a minute.
Oh, it's all good, dude. I'm wide awake now.
Now, let me go ahead and lay this one out there. I was watching. I had a passing by moment on First Take, and the caption at the bottom is a quote or the bottom of the screen was a quote from LeBron James. And now he said the NBA is more interested in comparing the greats than to just paying attention to greatness or to acknowledging greatness. I am so inclined to agree with this for one very simple reason. Look, I'm going to bring chronological age back into play. I'm 49 years of age. When I really first started watching the NBA and pro basketball, and all the way through high school, you know, of course, Hawks fan, been to the Omni to watch games. Of course, now Phillips Arena, I haven't had a chance to go see a Hawks game in a couple of years, but I earned my stripes as a Hawks fan. Same way with the Braves, same way with the Falcons. And from that vantage point, I've probably spent more money on Hawks, Falcons, and Braves merchandise and tickets than I have on Alabama and Auburn football. And yes, I live in Alabama. Go figure that one out. But over the years, everybody, and the same thing happens in football, it happens in baseball, it happens all the way across the board. The impatience and impertinence of the human mind. We can't just look at the factor that the Golden State Warriors are on the verge of setting history. We can't just look at the fact that Steph Curry has just been on a roll lately. Even when he's only scoring 25, he's still making it up on the other side of the board. And everybody wants to compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan. Why? Let it go. For me personally, yes, Michael Jordan, right alongside of Magic Johnson, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robinson. I mean, these were some of the greats in the world of basketball. My favorite team was the '85 Lakers. Nothing has eclipsed that for me. Not the Bulls, not the Pistons, not the Celtics, nada. But I don't go through life. I'll make comparison on teams before I'll make comparison on players. We're in two different timelines. LeBron James is LeBron James. I don't want him to be the next Michael Jordan. I want Michael Jordan to be Michael Jordan and LeBron James to be LeBron James. Shane?
You're right on board with something I saw from the great sports writer, Hall of Fame basketball writer Bob Bryant. He said, I think it's safe to say Steph Curry is the first Steph Curry in
Thank
league
God.
history. We've never seen a 6'3" guard with that kind of shooting stroke who very underratedly is putting in 8 or 9 assists in the box score every night, because I still don't think a lot of people, casual fans, don't realize he is a point guard. The offense goes through him. He is the setup, the facilitator. And you brought up a lot of those, and that's something I never really told you, Eddie. The NBA is actually one of my favorites. My dad, a lifelong Celtics fan. So at 8, 9, 10 years old, I knew the history of the K.C. Jones, the Bill Russells, the Satch Sanders, the Bob Cousy's, the Tommy Heinsohns. Really loved the league, and I'm right there with you. The reason I don't compare LeBron and Michael Jordan, first and foremost, they did not play the same position.
Right.
It's so hard. You've got a small forward / power forward, combo forward, to a shooting guard. When people like to make the comparisons of Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, okay, they were both under center, quarterback. I can see that. But, yeah, I'm like you. Why can't LeBron James just be the first LeBron James? And I think the problem now is in all sports, we've got such a lineage of history, so many decades now to look back on, whereas before some of these guys, when they came along, you could appreciate the Dr. J, Julius Erving, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, because the NBA, if memory serves, had only been around since 1949, so when they broke in 30 years later, 1979, there wasn't that long lineage of players to look back on, and now it's just, I mean, I remember when a kid from NC State, Tom Gugliotta, nice power forward, but everybody was trying to say the next Larry Bird.
Right.
Gugliotta had a 6-year career in the NBA. Just, why can't you just allow players to be themselves?
You know, I mean, it's like, let's take my Lakers, for example. There's no comparison in my book between Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson.
None.
There never has been. There never will be. You know, longtime listeners and my friends know how I feel about Kobe, especially after what happened with Shaq. And no, I can forgive. I have forgiven on that one, even though it's like it didn't affect me personally. It affected me as a fan. But by the same token, there is a world of difference because Magic Johnson wanted to surround himself with the best possible players. That's why when you talk about the classic Lakers of 1985, you talk about Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, A.C. Green, Kurt Rambis, James Worthy, and Byron Scott. You talk about how deep that bench was, and you can rack off most of their names, whereas during the time that Kobe and Shaq played together, you really couldn't rack off that many players' names. Not even when Robert Horry was playing with them.
I don't think many people are remembering the old Lakers backup center, Jan Tabat.
There you go.
Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, of course, one of my favorite players of all time is still Robert Horry. Hello. Homegrown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big shot, Bob.
Yep. So it's like, I really wanted to get your perspective on that one because in my book, there are comparisons that should never be made. Why? Because they're pointless. They're topic of conversations, and they're great ways to get people talking. But if you're going to compare people, I mean, it's like, okay, you have differences in the timelines as it pertains to salary caps, free agency, different things that make the game totally different.
I want to throw this out here for you, Eddie, and if this sounds like a homer for the Celtics, okay, maybe it's unabashed, but I'm looking at it from a point of view, people saying if LeBron gets to 6 rings, which is the template for Michael Jordan, that he ties as the greatest of all time, and I just continue to think that it's such a slap in the face to Bill Russell, the greatest winner in all of sports, who has 11 kiddos. He has more rings than he has fingers to put them on.
Yeah, I know.
And the biggest thing about it, Bill Russell won those last 2. Imagine this, as a player coach who actually would take himself out of games, sacrifice for the team on his own play to coach from the sidelines. I can't think of anyone in the NBA in the last 15 years that would be a player head coach, first of all, that would want that responsibility, but second, make it work to that level.
Oh, no. See, that's the sad part about it because so many people overlook Bill Russell. And, it's like you talk about some of the best big men out there, and it's like you have to – the conversation should always include Russell, Chamberlain, Robertson. I mean, okay, hold that last. Kareem, Robert Parrish, Akeem.
Oh, the Chief, absolutely, yeah. Olajuwon, a man who destroyed Shaquille O'Neal in the finals in 1994. And, I mean, it wasn't even close. It was a sweep. And – you brought up Kareem, and this is something that may blow your mind. You may have thought about it before. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the most points scored in NBA history.
Right.
He did that with the most unstoppable move, a skyhook from a 7'3" center. It baffles me, and Kareem has tried to reach out to the Dwight Howards of the world. He's tried to talk to the Shaquille O'Neals. Why would none of these big men say, hey, it worked for him, why don't I give it a shot?
Because there would be too much scrutiny by the press and by the fans. You would have, even though Kareem offered, you would have so many people sit back going, copycat. And they overlook the simple. I mean, why let the facts get in the way of a good story?
Exactly.
Why let the truth get in the way of a good rumor? Now, if I'm Kareem, I would never reached out to Dwight Howard. I'm sorry.
I know. They're with you.
I'm sorry. I have never been a Dwight Howard fan. I feel that he's overhyped, overrated, and overly brittle.
I've always thought his best years came with Stan Van Gundy, and he ran him out of town in Orlando.
Yeah.
And Kevin McHale, who is known as being a great coach, especially to big men, because I don't know if you can find a better power forward in league history. Maybe Karl Malone, but got Kevin McHale fired. Just last week, a team that had just reached the Western Conference Finals without 3 of its starters last year, the ink wasn't even dry on the extension, fired 11 games in because, in large part, Dwight Howard's underperforming.
And that's that to me, that's not a coaching thing. That's a Dwight Howard thing because Dwight Howard has proven the fact that he will start off strong and then get complacent.
Mm-hmm.
This man will probably make more moves than UPS before it's over with. And it's just sad because everybody wanted to put all their eggs in the basket on Dwight Howard. I've never been a big fan of his. I mean, look, I'm just not. I'm not going to go into running him down or anything like that, but you heard what I said a minute ago. He will start out his first year like a house of fire. It's like, hey, I'm here, let's rock and roll. And a little bit into the shuffle, he gets complacent, and therefore his performance suffers. But
I'm right there with you. I think if you look across the board at centers in the NBA, if he is truly that good, there are no Patrick Ewings, there are no David Robinsons, there are no, heck, I'll even say Rick Smiths, Robert Parishes. There is not the wealth of top-tier talent centers that there were even just 10 years ago, 20 years ago. He should be leaps and of course, no Shaquille O'Neal. He should be leaps and bounds ahead of people at the center position, but sometimes he just gets shuffled in as another guy.
Yeah, he really does. 9:22 left in the third. Warriors still leading by 16. Lakers just scored. It's 58-42 right now over on TNT. We talk about conversations, we talk about the debates, the arguments, the discussions, and I'm a true believer in the simple fact that's why these ratings are out here, the rankings are out there the way they are. Even though we've only got a couple of weeks left in the regular season before we head to the playoff, and I have to sit back and say, if it's going to be an even keel, the alignment of the conferences needs to take place to where either all 4 of your major conferences or all 6 major conferences have playoff games, have their conference championship, or none of them do. It's not fair for one conference to have a conference title game and another conference not to have a title game because they don't have enough teams. Guess what? You can bring in some powder puffs. You can bring in some keggers. That's fine and dandy. Keggers, folks, and I know what I said. But from that vantage point, it's like, should the Southeastern Conference have to suffer because of the fact that we do have a playoff game, whereas the Big 12 doesn't?
I can't believe in 2015 the Big 12 still doesn't have a conference title game.
Well, you had that whole rigmarole in the state of Texas when it became the Longhorn Network, and yeah, that was just, wow. Couldn't they have just gone ahead and made it the Big 12 Network? I mean, look, Alabama has a more storied tradition than Texas football does, and yet, no, we have the SEC Network, not the Roll Tide Network.
Right. I mean, this isn't MSG that shows exclusively Rangers, Knicks, and Yankees. I mean, I'm like you. It should be for the conference.
Exactly. So let's take a quick look, just for discussion's sake. Number 1 versus number 4, Clemson versus Iowa. Let's go neutral site because it's going to be at the Capital One Orange Bowl. Who do you think would take it right now?
I've been on the last few years. I've wanted to see Clemson get in this position when they had some of those really strong players. The C.J. Stillers, the Taj Boyds, the Sammy Watkins. Of course, now I can only name their quarterback Watson off the top of my head. But why do I get the feeling that Iowa could be this year's Ohio State? And I'm not here to sing the praises of the Big Ten, but I think you keep hearing it long enough, you play a patsy cupcake schedule, you have no chance you don't belong. Why do I think they couldn't actually, score an upset here against Clemson?
I'm inclined to a degree to agree, because I think Iowa would be in the perfect place to pull the so-called upset over Clemson. I am so glad that Clemson has finally made it as far as they have. Because remember a couple of years ago when they played Alabama in the kickoff classic over in the Georgia Dome, and then Clemson just never reached their potential.
Well, it was always what we spoke of a couple of weeks back, the Achilles heel with Florida State, and they got past that. And but I will say this: I'm not sure if they actually get by North Carolina in the ACC title game.
Neither am I. I'm not sure about that either. But how will it? Once again, case point scenario. You have conferences that don't have a championship game, and conferences that do should not be penalized in that regard. In my humble opinion, they should not be penalized in that regard. If you've got the rankings in place, well, guess what? If Baylor had stayed in that top 4, well, at the end of the season, they don't play in a Big 12 championship game. But yet, if Alabama does and we lose, lo and behold, do we get knocked out of the bracket because of a championship game? How is it fair? But speaking of fair, let's go ahead and put the question out there. Oklahoma versus Alabama. Shane?
I think revenge would be on the minds of the Crimson Tide,
Oh, hell yeah.
based on what Oklahoma did 2 seasons ago in a bowl game.
Sugar Bowl.
What's the old joke, and you may could help me out here, about big game Bob Stoops? He loses them all.
Oh, yeah,
Seems
buddy.
like on this type stage. Bama's clicking on all cylinders right now. I am not a fan of the Crimson Tide, but I'm not a hater. And their defense is legit. Derrick Henry is legit.
Yes.
Even if Jake Coker has a mediocre game, I think that's good enough to beat the Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah, I'm very much inclined to agree with the comment about Big Game Bob in that particular regard. Now, of course, Shane just used that line when it came to Robert Horry a little while ago. Another person who has Mongo championship rings to his credit. God, I mean, I've met him, I've talked to him. He's a great guy, always tremendous. And I'm talking about Robert Horry, that is. As far as Bob Stoops, I'm just, hey, look, I don't hate. I really don't. I will appreciate the Oklahoma Sooners for the tradition they bring to the table, but on this, and I'm not going to be a homer in any particular regard, because when I think Bama's going to lose, I think Bama's going to lose. I just think that our front seven Alabama's front seven at this particular point in time, if everybody's healthy going into that game, and Derek and our O-line can punch a hole, or even punch a pinhole that Derrick Henry can make his way through, oh hell yeah, it's on. And I honestly think that it's going to end up coming down to Alabama and Clemson in the finals. And in this particular case, I don't know who the hell I'd give the nod to.
I'm there with you. That's who I've wanted to see, I'd say, about 4 or 5 weeks into the season. Once Bama got that win over Georgia, and you just saw they had righted the ship, and you saw Clemson with the ascension. In my mind, that is the 2 best teams in the country. And that is, if it sounds like a detriment to Iowa, because I just picked them possibly to beat Clemson, it's not. But I'm right on there with Kirk Herbstreit. If they handle business, if they take care of the regular season finale and the Big Ten championship, they'll be in the Final Four. They will have their shot.
I'm looking at the game slated for Thursday, and of course, I'm just going to sit back and say, in my book, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 Eastern, South Florida and Central Florida should actually be a very entertaining game, because you've got 2 universities that are known for different styles of offense, and their defensive patterns just make people sit back and go, damn, that worked. Legit serious. But by the same token, I've got to look at the Texas Tech-Texas game also on Fox Sports 1 on this coming Thursday night, November 26th. And the Red Raiders and the Longhorns, in my book, just have not lived up to potential the last couple of years. They've been close. This year, not so much. Late last year, not so much. But this is going to be one where I'm honestly going to sit back and say Texas Tech should take the Longhorns.
I agree, and anybody who's listened to the programming over the last few weeks knows I'll bring it up again. I don't know why Charlie Strong is considered a top candidate for the University of Miami job. He is under 500 in Austin, and you can't recruit at many better places than you can at Texas.
If you can't get blue chip and 5-star, 4-star recruits for Longhorn Nation, considering what they bring to the considering what that tradition should bring to the table, sorry, I look. I want the U to have a top flight coach, preferably not Nick Saban. Yeah, I know. Look, right now, I've actually even started to gain a little bit of respect for Lane Kiffin. And I don't know if you and I spoke that regularly when Kiffin was first brought in as OC. I hated that hire. I could not stand Lane Kiffin. After what he pulled at Tennessee, after the crap on the West Coast, Alabama brings him in for an OC job? Okay. 2 years later, this might not have been a bad idea. My jury is still out on Lane Kiffin, okay?
I was going to say, take your pick on the debacle of the West Coast, either in college football with USC or the NFL with the Oakland Raiders. Who could forget that slideshow Al Davis put up of Lane Kiffin calling him a flat-out liar?
Yup. And as it stands, for our DC, I got one thing to say. Back a Brinks truck up. Don't care. Do not let him get away. I know he's going to eventually, but damn it. Back a Brinks truck up to his front porch and say, would you sign this little piece of paper? Because we like to keep you here along with a nice little 7-figure income. I'm serious. That just, that it fits. I mean, do you blame me for saying that?
Oh, not at all. I mean, if Kirby Smart's not already the most highest paid defensive coordinator in the country, he damn well better be.
And he damn well deserves to be. You look, I mean, and they've done a great job. They've gotten some great recruits down there, and they still got more kids coming in next year. I think we're once again going to have a top 5 recruiting class at Alabama, but I'm not even starting to consider that. I've got a game coming up that we both are paying a lot of attention to this Saturday. Alabama-Auburn.
Oh, there it is. The Iron Bowl this Saturday.
Do you want to tackle that tonight, or do you want to wait till Saturday on the showcase?
Let's wait till Saturday where I can not have to tackle it twice and talk about how much the Tide is going to absolutely roll this Saturday.
And for the record, I have moved. I have shifted. Oh, and we're not going to yeah, let's go ahead and do this real quick because I want to go into cool. Philadelphia, Detroit, Thursday. Your thoughts?
I like Detroit. Man, I mean, the way they beat Green Bay and then Oakland, how could you not like them on a short week at home? Philly seems to be in major duress, and I think anytime Mark Sanchez, Mr. Butt Fumble, Mr. Pick Six himself, is your starting quarterback, you got problems, Philly.
You just used mine and Michelle Beadle's favorite word, butt fumble. Right now, the Eagles and Lions is a pick'em. You want to hear a scary thought? There are 2 pick'ems on my Wednesday games. I mean, on my Thursday games.
I'm not going to say the other one being Dallas hosting the unbeaten Carolina Panthers.
Yes, believe it or not, even with, and I'm going to make that Dan Patrick Show reference again, even with Shay and Irvin saying the Messiah has returned, it's still a pick'em, kids. And it's a Dallas home game, but Carolina coming in. I think we brought this one up, but by the same token, yeah, they got past this. They got past the weekend, and I'm just going to sit back and say this. I appreciate the Cowboys. Always have, always will. I have a jersey in my archive, but by the same token, there's about to be another jersey added because I'm gaining a lot of respect for Carolina, even more so than just liking them. I'm gaining that much more respect because I'm not a bandwagon fan. I'm just going to sit back and say, you know something? They got it going on. And ride the Lightning for as long as you can. I'm picking Carolina to defeat Dallas this Thursday. Shane?
Yeah, I'm there with you. I mean, as a Dolphins fan, I watched every second of that Dallas-Miami game, and they were able to intercept Tony Romo twice. It was a 14-all ball game. Miami made a couple of blusters in special teams. Gave the Cowboys awesome field position. Kudos to them. They were able to overcome and win. But I don't think if Romo throws a couple of picks against that Carolina defense, they are in trouble Thursday.
And by the way, for the record, as far as it goes with Detroit and Philadelphia, I really don't have a dog in this fight, nor do I have a lion, tiger, bear, eagle, buckeye, whatever. I know I just pulled a college team in there, but who cares? I'm picking the Lions. I want the Lions to win on Thanksgiving. I don't care.
Can't you root for Detroit to win on Thanksgiving?
Yes. After all the years that they lost, even with Barry Sanders on the team, God love him, one of my favorite players of all time. And I know that they've got so much going wrong right now in Motor City, but by the same token, I want Detroit to win. No disrespect to the Philly fans out there, but it's Thanksgiving. By God, I want the Lions to win. And of course, go ahead.
This is some bonus trivia from last night. Detroit actually has more wins on Thanksgiving than Dallas, 33-30.
Really?
And I wanted to bring this up to you too for Philadelphia because I know how much you, like me, you love great quotes. Did you happen to catch Chip Kelly, the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, on his radio show Monday?
No, I did not.
The host, it just blew my mind. Chip Kelly was being sarcastic. He was being bombastic, defiant of his coaching style, being the man that is the general manager, picking the players and coaching them. And he was defending himself and all this other stuff and took a shot at the host. And the host said, yeah, I'm nothing but the host, but I guarantee you I couldn't be much worse than 4 and 6.
Damn.
That soundbite popped me.
Yeah, to say the
Because
least.
Chip Kelly is and all coaches have to have a bit of an ego, we know this, but if there's anybody that really makes you want to believe in his system and will force it down your throat, it is one Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I believe the term. He's quickly approaching diva status.
Mm-hmm.
And has not got the right to.
And speaking of coaches, I want to transition back to college for a second because this has been on my mind for the last 5 days. I'd love to get your thoughts. I don't know if you're like me, Eddie. All the rumors swirling and circulating, but it looks like it is a foregone conclusion that Les Miles will no longer be the coach of the LSU Tigers at the conclusion of this weekend. And reading an ESPN article, a source within the LSU Tigers said, here in Louisiana, we expect titles, and we're not getting them. I have 2 thoughts on this. 1, when did Louisiana become title town? And 2, Les Miles' record in 11 years is like 113-32.
Right.
My God.
Okay. How many titles? Okay. When Les Miles won his first title, if my numbers are correct and my chronology is right, he still had a preponderance of Nick Saban's players.
He did.
And how many titles did he win since then?
None. He made one other title game.
Okay. So, logistically speaking, Les Miles has had winning seasons how many years, with the exception of this one?
I think every one.
How many years has LSU gone to a bowl game?
I believe every year.
How many years is SEC? They played for the SEC championship once in every at least once, like every 4 years since he's been there.
Absolutely.
Then I have a major issue with Les being dismissed. Les Miles.
I'm right there with you. I'm sorry to interrupt. That was a trivia question I did earlier in the year. LSU had the longest streak of preseason ranked top 25 at like 13 years in a row. That's all under his watch.
And I'm going to sit back and say this. I'm not an LSU fan, but by the same token, I respect Les Miles. He is a good coach. He's a good motivator, a great recruiter. He's going to land on his feet somewhere. There have been times when Les has been outplayed on the field, and that's no fault of his own. Because you can go in with an excellent game plan, but everybody's got a great game plan until they get punched in the mouth. Thank you, Mike Tyson.
Yes, sir.
Still one of my favorite quotes of all time.
Absolutely.
And for the record, before I go any further, speaking of great quotes and punching people in the mouth, my hat is off to Holly Holm, who has shown class, dignity, professionalism, and respect for her sport and her trade in every talk show and media appearance that she has been on since defeating Ronda Rousey for the UFC championship. Thank you, Miss Holm, for also showing the public how one and nearsighted they can be. Because it takes 2 people to fight. No, I did not pick you to win. Yes, I did say that if you stuck to your roots and played your cards right, you'd make it to the second round, which would be technically uncharted waters for Ronda Rousey over her last few fights. And you won. Kudos. Congratulations. Seriously. I'm proud of you. Happy for you. I bet on you. $50 in lunch. Hey, I'm a happy fat man. But by the same token, I appreciate the factor of how she is helping to get people to open their eyes with the way that she's carrying herself. Goldberg made the comment during the fight, it takes a lot of energy to be a rock star. It takes a lot of class to be called a superstar. And Ms. Holm, in my book, that word is about to wholeheartedly apply to you. Stick to your roots, stay to the basics, and be true to yourself. And you will be a superstar all the way across the board. Now, coming back to anything you'd like to say before I go back to Les?
Totally agree with that. How easy would it be to make the talk show circuit rounds and say, I knocked out Ronda Rousey, and no one could dispute that, but she's handling it with pure class.
Oh, she is. And she's been winning people over left and right. I saw a couple of her media appearances, and she has just been genuine, pure, down to earth, funny, charismatic, comedic. I mean, and it's just, I'm glad to see it. I appreciate it.
I'm right there with you, and not just for rematch purposes, which we spoke of earlier on another show, but it's good to see balance in the division. Another star.
Yeah, we've needed that. I mean,
because it always seemed like Ronda Rousey in the field. To me, golf is more interesting now that there's, a Rory McIlroy and Justin Spieth to go along with. Even Tiger Woods, his results is not the star quality, but still there. You need more than one.
You do. You really do. And, of course, I'll say this from the get-go. I mean, as far as it pertains to Tiger, I wish that he could make a full, healthy return to the links. I mean, because he is a great ambassador for the most part. I don't know if people really want to use that word with Tiger, because there's some people that still haven't forgiven the personal crap, which to me, the personal should never affect the on the court or on the links, on the grass, on the green, at the tee, in the box, whatever. I don't care what happened.
What he committed was not a crime. It was not a felony. It's something that I'm sure maybe goes on in over 40 or 50% of marriages in this country. That's why half of them end in divorce.
To which I will still sit back and say, unless you lie under oath, he never said anything to the effect of, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And I'm actually a Clinton fan saying that, so get off me, kids.
Well, I was going to say Monica Lewinsky was asked. She is going to vote for Donald Trump for president because the last Clinton left a bad taste in her mouth.
There you go. That joke never gets old.
I had to say it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, wrapping up real quick. I feel bad for Les because I think Les is a class act. He's a good coach. Like I said, a good motivator, a great recruiter. And I think that he's brought a lot of success to the LSU Bengal Tiger program. To see him unceremoniously drummed out because he hasn't been back to a national title game I think that's just pathetic.
I think for the fact this is his first 3-game losing streak in 11 years.
Yeah.
That is a testament in and of itself, and they're wanting you out of town. And there is a plethora of jobs open. I mean, Virginia Tech, USC, Miami, possibly Georgia. You never know. He'll land on his feet somewhere.
I would love to see him land on his feet in Miami. I think that would be a beautiful thing. I think it would be a beautiful thing for him to land on his feet coaching at the U. Can you imagine the kids?
And I don't see Les Miles being one of these guys to take a year or two off and do television. I think he jumps right back into it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, by the way, we missed the Bears-Packers game.
I like Green Bay, even though I had the Bears covering the spread against Denver. Of course, they'll have to explain to me why on 4th and 1 they go for a field goal late in the game. But the Pack certainly seems to be back, and it's not just that they beat Minnesota, but the way that defense really shut down Adrian Peterson, a guy that had been running rampant on everyone. They bottled him up.
Yeah, there's a Nicolas Cage movie that really just makes me think about the Bears sometimes, Left Behind. And well, I didn't really feel like doing the reference. But that's what happens. You have no faith, you get left behind, and that's what happened to the Bears. They had no faith in May Nicolas Cage forgive me, or I'll be gone in 60 seconds.
And speaking of Denver real quick, we are on the cusp of either what is going to be a very painful divorce or an unbelievably blind devotion in a quarterback situation. I'm speaking of Peyton Manning, because Brock Osweiler, 20 of 27, 253 yards and a couple of touchdowns against Chicago, looked solid in his first start on the road. He gets the New England Patriots this Sunday. If they win, or he even plays remotely very well, it's going to be very tough for Gary Kubiak to put Peyton Manning back under center.
That's very true. That's excruciatingly true. Coming out of last week, and I am in wholehearted agreement.
The sad part to me, Eddie, is it's not just the injuries, but even before that, it didn't look like Peyton was doing anything to keep his job, leading the league in interceptions. And that's painful to say.
Yeah, it is, because I appreciate Peyton Manning and everything he's done at the position of quarterback. But as far as it goes, I really think that, if Osweiler, now remembering the fact you got the Patriots, so, but on any given Sunday, still, I don't care if it's the Patriots, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Steelers, I almost said Oilers. Shoot me now.
Oh yeah, we saw Buffalo take them to the limit Monday night.
Yeah. I mean, and I didn't give Buffalo that much credit, but legitimately speaking, I know that there's a ton of questions that a lot of people want to ask Kubiak right now, but as far as it goes with me, if Osweiler is going to start against the Patriots, give him the chance, give him the ball, see what happens. If Peyton is not 100%, sit him. If Peyton is hurt, sit him. Don't just try to put him in the game for the marquee matchup. The marquee will wait. The marquee will shine brighter if Osweiler leads the damn Broncos to a win over the Patriots. And
yeah, just read this on ESPN. This came in. Manning to be out at least 2 more weeks now. So that decision is a formality.
There you go.
Osweiler will be under center.
Good. Give the kid a chance. And Peyton needs to be there supporting him. Stand back with him. Help him. Teach him. Let him learn. Peyton can't.
Yeah, and that's why I spoke of, painful divorce. I mean, the team at 39 years old, even if he's 100% healthy, the organization's always got one foot out the door thinking to the future.
Of course. It's Elway.
Sure.
I mean, legitimately, let's put this in perspective. But no, seriously, coming into this weekend, like I said, I have to go with the Pack. I really do. I don't see Chicago with a full-scale methodology in place in order to defeat the Pack at Lambeau. It ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. To my knowledge right now, let me double check. I believe the Packers are giving away 8. The over set at 46. That may change. It started at 9-48. Now it's 8-46. So there's been a little bit of a shift on both of those right now. Will the Packers cover them this week? Yeah, I think they will. I don't think the Bears can keep it that close. I think it's actually going to be probably 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree with you. On a short week, Thanksgiving, and that is the oldest rivalry in the National Football League, the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. As long as Aaron Rodgers is under center, it's always been hell for the Monsters of the Midway.
Yeah. And this Thursday, they officially retire Favre's jersey.
Oh, see that right there. You might be right there with me, Eddie. I'm always a huge believer that when you retire someone's jersey or their number in basketball at home, that home team comes out passionate.
Even when it's somebody who played for 2 other teams after he left them. And was one play away from a Super Bowl for both.
Oh, Al Getz put in the bounty.
Yeah, he must have. But I think it was probably more than 2,000 considering it's Brett Favre. That might actually have been a 5-figure bounty. Either that or Getz managed to renegotiate his deal with Wrangler.
What do you think of the accusations here? And just one more thing about football for a hot minute. I keep seeing more and more week after week opposing coaches, opposing players accusing Jeff Fisher's St. Louis Rams of dirty play.
I've been watching dirty play all weekend. I've been watching dirty play for the last couple of weeks. It doesn't matter who the hell the team is. I was watching a game that had the worst no call that I have ever seen when a player is crossing the goal line and the defender is aiming his helmet for the knee and no flag is thrown. In my book, that's BS.
Mm-hmm.
That is complete and total fecal matter. The referees have been inconsistent this year. The referees have that's the best word I can use. I'm sorry. The union should be destroyed as far as the referees go. I don't care because they're becoming more and more unreliable as the season goes on. They're becoming more and more inconsistent. It's kind of like during. Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to bring that up. It's been something that really aggravated me. I know a rule's a rule, but if you saw the conclusion of the Sunday night game, the Arizona Cardinals and the Cincinnati Bengals tie game. Arizona driving down, to kick the game-winning field goal. It would have been a 55-yarder. I guess you saw this call. The Cincinnati defender is barking out signals, drew a false start penalty, which, hey, that's a 15-yard personal foul. Made it a chip shot, 32-yard field goal, ball game, Cardinals win.
Yep.
I don't see why that's a rule when you see the offense go out there with a quarterback barking out all these signals trying to draw the defense offside. I mean, we've taken so much out of the game where you can't play defense, you can't really touch people. Why not allow them to do what the quarterbacks do? If I can draw your offensive lineman offside, that's strategy.
Yeah.
And how does the referee know? Because there's so much talk and so much chipper at the line of scrimmage. How does he know standing 5-8 yards back what was said?
Once again, I cannot answer that question because I do not know. But like I say, the main one for me is when I understand somebody wanting to try to tackle lower body, but when you aim your helmet at the knee, the side of the knee of an individual, that's bull, because that's telling me you're not trying to tackle. That means you're trying to take away that person's leg, which means you could be taken away.
Yep.
Yes, it is. And that I'm sorry. Like I said, and I hope that somebody with the front office of the officials listens on this one, because to me, it's crap like that doesn't get called that destroys the game, because we get tired of seeing it. Look, you want bloodlust? Watch the UFC. Watch Kickboxer. Watch Fight Club. Watch a shark. I don't care. Football is not a contact sport. Football is an impact and collision sport. It's a car crash without a car.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tired of seeing people. And look, I'm one of the first ones to complain about arm wrap tackling. I believe tackling should be tackling, but any player in the National Football League especially should know by now the definition of a correct and proper tackle.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, look, this has been my biggest complaint. You got pampered millionaires playing in the NBA that don't even know how to make a free throw. Really? Really? Come on. You make that much money and you can't bring in, not even Shaquille and frickin' whoever else it was that was doing, Wilt Chamberlain doing granny throws.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. You're in
Rick
the
Barry made that work too.
Yeah, I know.
That worked, the granny shot.
Yeah. Didn't Chamberlain do it once or twice?
He did.
That's what I
and
thought.
That was another story about Shaq. Rick Barry reached out to him about his free throws, and Shaq said, I hit them when they count. And I'm like, big man, they all count.
Damn right they do. Every point counts. I don't care who says what.
You miss 5 free throws in the first quarter that you consider not counting, and your team loses by 3. I'm going to be the ticky-tack statistician that looks back and says, missed 5 in the first quarter, count the same as the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
That's right. Tell you what, we're at 24 until the hour. It's officially Wednesday in Georgia, about to be that in Alabama. I'm going to go ahead and say,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. It is. It's 25 till
Oh, wow. Last work day of the week coming up tomorrow. I hope for you as well.
No, I got Friday. I got the doubles. Yep. Tell you what, I'll turn the ball into your court. One more round. Shane Noles, last call.
Oh, it seems like on last call, I always bring this up, and this will be the final time for 2015. Congrats to Kyle Busch winning the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship. I know you texted me about that earlier in the week. Wasn't my pick to get it done, but how could you, even if you're not a Kyle Busch fan, knowing what he went through, breaking his leg at Daytona, having to get special clearance to qualify for the chase, it's like, okay, you're eligible, but you've got to go on an unbelievable run to even qualify, and he did.
He did. And
to survive all the eliminator rounds. And it's amazing. You saw that with 10 laps to go. He's in third place on the track, Harvick in fourth, but he was ahead 10 seconds. I said, there's going to be a caution. Sure enough, phantom debris somewhere in turn 3. They're all bunched up. Kyle Busch still drove away a definitive champion.
Yep.
Oh, and one thing on the last call. Did you happen to see the story with Jeff Gordon and Richard Petty?
No, I did not see this.
I thought this was so cool. Jeff Gordon's first race, in NASCAR was the 1992
Brickyard.
season finale at Atlanta, Richard Petty's final race. All the drivers gave him gifts. Richard Petty gave the entire garage money clips, custom made. And Jeff Gordon had spoke over the years about how much that money clip meant to him. Sunday at the race, Richard Petty gives him 2 possessions. One of 7 custom Richard Petty King cowboy hats that he has with the feather, and he autographed it. The other, he gave Jeff Gordon 93 $1 bills for each win that he had in NASCAR. He said, "Kid," and I can still call you kid, "I got one more in my pocket if you make it 94. And seeing Gordon just break down talking about that, I'm just a sucker for cool stories like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's incredible. Yeah, and I haven't said it. I did say it Sunday. Just Mabel would not let me finish the damn sentence. Once again, I'd like to reoffer my congratulations on the season and on the victory and on the championship to Kyle Busch. Longtime friends, longtime listeners, or my friends and longtime listeners are all going to know that I do hold Kyle Busch in high regard. Was he my first pick to win Sunday? No. Unfortunately, I was actually pulling for Jeff because I was hoping for the storybook finish. But by the same token, there was another storybook that was writing its ending. And some would say it was Cinderella because of the way the situations broke down with the leg breaking, with the rehab of the injury, getting back behind the wheel of the car, a near impossible circumstance just to qualify for the chase. He climbed the mountain. And right now, Kyle Busch stands atop of that mountain. One thing that had eluded him is now the word he can say, and we can all say, champion. To Jeff Gordon, once again, it's been I started out this world not a Jeff Gordon hater. I just wasn't a Jeff Gordon fan. But I came along I came along, so to speak, and realized the factor of what he does for the world of auto racing. And over the last few years, I found myself being one who wanted to see the 24 get back into victory lane more often.
You know, and it goes back to what we did this whole conversation when I came on it, appreciating greatness. I don't think, let Jeff Gordon be Jeff Gordon. I mean, he won me over, just like you. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I became a supporter of Jeff Gordon. I said, wow, I really appreciate this guy for what he's done, and I want to see more of it before he goes on the way out. So.
Yeah, there's a really horrible mathematics joke that I can play right about now, and I think I'm going to. Let me ask you this question. The number 24, let's go numerology for a second. You take the numbers 2 and 4 and 24, put them together, what do you got?
30?
No, 2 and 4.
Oh, that's the 2, 4, and 24. Like add up the sums?
No, just
what you were going for?
Yeah, the numbers 2 and 4 out of the number 24. What do you get?
Well, if you're talking NASCAR car numbers, you're talking Rusty Wallace and I can't remember the fourth, Kevin Hart right now.
Nope. If you take the 2 and the 4 and you add them together, you get 6.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you take the number of numbers involved in the number of 24, you get 2. Take a simple division course. 6 divided by 2 is?
3.
Who was the greatest rival for the 24 for a while?
That would be the late, great Dale Earnhardt.
And who also realized the potential in Jeff Gordon and helped to bring the kid along to where he could achieve superstar status. That would be Dale Earnhardt as well.
Yeah, that's, and I guess, my last thing on Gordon. I know we'll talk NASCAR going forward on the telecast, but looking at it, I think Jeff Gordon got one more top 10 in his final race at a Homestead. I believe something, and this is just paraphrasing numbers, somewhere around 900 starts, over 473 in the top 10. And you could take about another 150 races where he was in the top 10, had a record or problem, and the guy was just consistent forever. And I think with me, and probably you as well, being a longtime fan, he was the last of his generation. I mean, when he was around, it was the Mark Martins, the Dale Earnhardts, the Bobby Labonis, the Terry Labonis, the Dale Jarretts, the Neil Bonnets, the Dave Markets, the Kyle Petty. I mean, all that's gone with Jeff Gordon gone from the sport. It's a new day.
And actually, there's one more name that's about to leave us, and he's picking next year for his last ride, and that would be the driver of the number 14 Chevrolet for Stewart-Haas Racing, as Tony Stewart has announced that next year will be his last year in Cup driving competition, or his last full season driving behind the wheel of a Cup car.
Yeah, just never seemed the same after the incident.
I know, which really sucks.
And I hate that. I mean, I'm not a Smoke fan. I respect his aggression and the way he drives, but I was never a Smoke fan. But I really hate to see him. I hope next year is not what 2015 was for Tony Stewart.
No,
because the guy, when he came along in that Home Depot Pontiac, I mean, hasn't he won 3 Cups?
Yes,
and has never won the Daytona 500. So you know that will be the story in February. I mean, he's won so many races at Daytona, never the big one. Can he do it in his final season?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Yes. 2 with Joe Gibbs Racing. He was the bookends for Jimmy Johnson, and he also won in a Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
All in the Home Depot car, which I still have that jacket up in my closet right now under wraps.
And this is something I'm going to be working on for Useless Trivia. Now that Jeff Gordon is gone, who is the longest tenured full-time driver on the NASCAR Sprint Cup circuit?
Well, it ain't Dick Trickle.
Not the 49-year-old 1989 Rookie of the Year. No.
No.
I mean, just off the top of my head, you have to look back with Stewart stopping, and I think he came along in 99, 2000. 99 was the rookie season for Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Can you go beyond that?
That's a good question.
I mean, because Ryan Newman came along 01, McMurray 02.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, pre-1999.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I don't think Bobby Labonte is still considered full-time, is he?
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. Okay. So that would make Stewart the oldest driver in the business right now.
I would think so. I think he debuted in 99. I believe he debuted in 2000.
It's going to be about that same area. Because, well, remember, he'd been driving open wheel for a while.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't your typical rookie. Yeah, he came along. Trying to think.
We'll
Kevin
work on
Harvick
that.
came along in 01.
We'll work on that.
Jimmy Johnson around the same time. Casey Kane. I mean, Gordon in 92. There's a 7-year break to 99. I can think of 2 drivers in 99, and then wow, truly the end of an era.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And for me on Jeff Gordon, one last thing, I was just sad to see that DuPont was no longer a sponsor, because when they were showing all those old clips, I was like, damn, that's the car I wanted to see on the track this year.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun to see that paint scheme back one more time for the Rainbow Warriors. But I don't think they would have been able to do it.
I feel for Chase Elliott, because it is the Ray Perkins, Bill Curry syndrome following Bear Bryant. I mean, Chase Elliott, I know he's good, but he better be good in the 24 car starting next season.
Well, remember, he's also going to be sharing he's got Casey Kane for a stablemate now.
Mm-hmm.
God, Chase Elliott taking over the 24. You go from a legend to the son of a legend, right?
Right, that's crazy. I mean, it's we don't see this a lot in NASCAR, where drivers, retire, get to go out on their own terms, so to speak, and there's a succession plan in place for that particular car with that particular number.
That's very true. That's very true. Folks, tell you what, we're getting ready to take things to the Radio Ranch. I want to say a very special thank you to Stan Grubb for coming on during the second hour. Thank you to Josh Wheeler with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, their event this coming Sunday, November the 29th, at the Legacy at the Quad, 714 Spring Street in Atlanta. The AWE Heroes take on the combined team of the Hierarchy and Team IOU. Still have to ask the question, can Team IOU be trusted? Chris Crunk, Ken Lee, Ashton Starr, Luscious LaRon, Chip Matthews, Marco, Dementia DeRose, Cold Hard Security, Aaron Epic, Jason Cade, The Priscilla Kelly, and a whole lot more this Sunday, the 29th in Atlanta, bell time, 4 o'clock local time. Check out ATL Wrestling ENT on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/follow those letters the way I said them. ATL Wrestling ENT for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. Stan Grubb, of course, courtesy of Wrestle Rage Radio and Corner to Corner. About to be added to the Beyond Ringside family of shows. And speaking of this weekend, mark your calendars, make your plans. It's right around the corner. If you're tired of turkey, we got you covered. 2 consecutive nights. And it's going to start on Saturday, November the 28th, Carrollton, Georgia, at the Central Elementary School. Main event, Jimmy Rave, Tommy Too Much. Non-title, but there's a lot on the line. Tyson Dean, Sal Renaro, Iceberg, Dusty McWilliams, Kevin Blue, Mike Posey, the P-Dog. My tag team partner here, Shane Noles, taking on Simon Sermon. Hashtag trending now, Haven and Zanders taking on. You said the feature attraction?
The feature attraction, yes.
Okay. I didn't know if it was feature attraction or feature presentation.
I thought it was going to be presentation. It is the feature attraction, I guess, with Britt Jackson being the attraction. Britt Jackson.
I thought it was Mr. Excitement, Britt Jackson.
Thought it was Hugh Hefner, Britt Jackson, for a second.
Yes, and I'm the Magic City Motor Mouth Casey Kasem.
But folks, I am a big proponent of this, as you know, if you listen to our programs, and thank you for all you do in all different avenues as Eddie covers. Get out of the house and do something. I don't think I've got to prod you a whole lot this weekend. You're going to spend time with family and friends. Some you love, some you begrudgingly love. You're going to want to get away and let out some of that aggression and maybe work off some of that turkey. All kinds of events, 2 wrestling events this weekend. Get out and do something. It's the holidays. Enjoy.
Folks, I want to thank you for hanging out on this Tuesday night, the marathon in more ways than one. Once again, thank you to Josh Wheeler. Thank you to... Wow, I hate it when that happens. That hurts too. Thank you to Stan Grubb, and of course Shane. Always a pleasure, and I look forward to having you. I'm back in action this coming Saturday morning on the showcase.
Absolutely. I always look forward to the Shooter's Gallery.
Now, here's the fun part. Folks listening on the live side, remember you can catch the replay here on Beyond Ringside Sports Radio through the app and through .com. From there, on the pre-recorded or on the taped side, I'll still use that word, Podomatic, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can catch us through there, yes. Also through TuneIn Radio app. I keep forgetting to mention that, and I apologize. Replays are not done through Ustream, but I will have a YouTube episode up very quickly as well. Thanks for hanging out. We hope you enjoyed this ride. To Be Determined returns tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. Wicked Nemesis, Angie Tessarian, Clyde Braddock, yours truly, welcoming in the No Pain Train, Iceberg. For Josh Wheeler, for Stan Grubb, for tag team partner Shane Noles.
Have yourselves a great weekend and a wonderful Thanksgiving. Much to be thankful for.
Amen. That's the truth. I am the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Layne saying until next time. Hell, let's do it. Adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abasinia, au revoir, until we meet again, aloha means bye-bye. Join us right here next time. And be sure to watch out Saturday night, because as soon as we wrap up at Peachstate Wrestling Alliance, Beyond Ringside Live takes it to the air all the way across the board. Don't miss it. And aloha means bye-bye. Join us right here next time as we all go Beyond Ringside. Bye for now.